Hello, Vanessa Marie Gonzalez.
Hi. Um,
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I love the title of this podcast. It's so good.
Yes,
A little
spiritual
spiritual
Kiki.
Kiki. That's so good.
Yeah, it's got a spiritual and gay. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Best of both worlds.
Yes.
Yeah. I love your eyeshadow. You're just killing it.
Oh, this little simple glamour.
Oh, it's good. I just did a little gloss, to keep from
Oh,
getting chapped.
yes. No, I can see it.
Thank you.
What you know about me?
Yes. What you know about me?
Because my lip gloss be cool.
Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, I forfeited makeup though. I'm just like I'm not. I'm gonna put it away for now, but I'll bring it back maybe.
Yes. Doing the Alicia Keys.
Yes, I'm doing my Alicia Keys quarantine.
Well, you know about the whole like she went like with the no makeup. That was her like movement.
Yeah, but then she's been coming back around. I've
Oh
seen
yeah,
her.
yeah.
I'm like, girl, that's makeup.
I
That isn't
know.
natural.
She'll only do like eyeliner and be like, "That's not makeup."
I know. She's got a tinted BB cream or something for sure.
Yeah. But no, she doesn't. Her skin is great. She doesn't need it.
Oh, I know. She's perfect.
So, how's quarantine been?
It's been all right. I'm here in Austin, came back to be with my boo. He's here, my dog's here. And it's been good that, it's had its ups and downs. I feel
Yeah.
like just taking it one day at a time. I know we're going to talk about New Earth in a bit, which I love,
Yes.
but I feel like at the beginning of quarantine, I definitely went back to the old Earth, and I was I was in old Earth, and I was like my ego was going
Oh,
crazy,
yes.
all the negative thoughts, but I'm sure, I think everyone was doing all that, so I was like, that was definitely the vibe in the air, was just like everyone freak out.
Yeah.
But it's been better. I feel like now it's just like, I'm trying to look at things in just like a calm way, and just be like happy for what I do have, and cherish, the time the more time that I have now with my boyfriend and being home, and just looking at it in a positive way than everything like bad, bad, bad.
Yes. Did
Hmm.
you panic buy anything?
No, I just grocery shopped. Like that, this was the first time I went to the grocery store where I didn't just get like a little bit of something. We like actually filled up a whole cart. So we're
Yeah.
just like, fill it up. We can't go to the grocery store anymore. But now that time's passed, we're like, oh yeah, we can go, just wear a mask and be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, how's your album? Your album, My Birthday's Tomorrow,
Oh,
your comedy
yeah.
album?
Yeah, it's been doing well. People have been tagging me that they bought it. I also got little pins, and
Mm-hmm.
it's been so nice. I feel very lucky and grateful that I have that right now to like promote, and being that nobody's doing live shows, people can listen to the album, and hopefully it cheers some people up, and gets
Yes.
them laughing, because I feel like we still need to laugh, even though it
Yeah.
seems super hard right now. You got to find the joy still.
What inspired the Mermaid?
Oh, well, I've always just like growing up, we played that game a lot, the Loteria game.
Oh,
And
it's a car. Okay, okay.
it's a
It's a card.
Loteria card, yeah. Oh, I remember I did that show Loteria and you were there.
Oh
You were
yeah,
playing
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
um, yeah, so it's a Loteria card and I was like, well, why is she like I want her to look like me, a little thicker, a little smaller titties with some glasses. Like, let's make her look for real. you know? And
Yes.
so I thought it'd be cool. And my boyfriend actually drew that. He did the art for it.
Oh
And I
wow.
love her. Yeah.
That's funny. You should
Yeah.
redraw the Starbucks girl as yourself.
Yes. That would be good. That'll be the next album, All Mermaids. That'd
Yes.
be awesome.
And Starbucks is gonna come after you.
Whatever.
Whatever.
They can't come. They can't touch me. Nobody can touch me now.
Oh yeah, yeah, 6 feet.
6 feet. So no one can get in trouble anymore.
Oh yeah, yeah. At this point, it's like, bitch, there's a pandemic. Leave me alone.
Right. It's like there's bigger problems right now.
I know I've been hearing like I don't know in your neighborhood, but I've been hearing like a lot of cop sirens, like rare,
Really?
not sirens, but like the calling
Mm,
for you to stop.
really? Yeah, it's funny here in Austin, a lot of cops are like pulling people over more, like giving more tickets. And it's like, bitch, for real? Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's I think they're just bored too.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it makes me wonder. It's like, is it they're like, is it because they're asking like, what are you doing? Like, why are you out?
Yeah. Or like people just, I don't know. Cause I'm like, it's funny, like here in Austin, well, in Texas, they're like trying to open everything up again. So there's like traffic again and stuff. So people are going out there all crazy.
How do you feel
Mm.
about that?
I think it's dumb. It definitely doesn't feel like the the safest move right now, especially like we're like right in the thick of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me sad because I feel like where it's just if we can only wait, it's like if
Yeah.
we waited and I almost like relate it to like my personal self of like if I, I always have that urge in me of like not wanting to wait, not wanting to trust. I always want to like act and think I know best, but it's like if you just wait, everything will like fix itself and be okay. But because people are like, no, we need to go back to work and I need a haircut and I don't know what, and it's like you're gonna make it worse for yourself
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're like you think you know better than what the universe
Yes.
is trying to do right now.
Yes.
So I keep, I'm taking that and like seeing people like rush and be like, no, and it's not, and like trying to think they know better. And it just like reminds me of like, oh, sometimes I do that and I need to just trust and wait and go with
Yeah.
the flow of things.
Yes. And it's
Hmm.
making me think of, I don't know if you know about the whole 1918.
Hmm.
Um, I think it was some kind of a flu or smallpox. I don't know, but it was one of the,
Hmm.
it's one of those kind of diseases. But in
Hmm.
St. Louis, they like, well, compared to Philly didn't quarantine, so a lot more people like died initially.
Mm.
But with St. Louis, even after they quarantined, they quickly went back to normal, and that's when there's a lot more cases after. So it's
Hmm.
just like history's gonna repeat itself. It's crazy.
I know. And that's what it's like. I feel like it just keeps doing that and we don't learn.
Yeah,
Like the universe always keeps telling us the same thing over and over again and
yeah,
we just keep making the same dumb mistakes.
yeah, yeah. And honestly,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I don't mean this in a negative way, but like
Mhm.
those this and it's not everyone, right? Not everybody
Mhm.
is like rushing to do it. But like those people who are so like, oh no, I gotta work, or it's my right, or whatever,
Yeah.
like whatever. It's like, girl, like calm down.
Right.
Like hasn't this whole thing made you like think like twice about your like actions and your thoughts and your feelings and your everything?
Hmm.
Like,
But it's like you look at those people, I see those videos and like people were protesting here at the Capitol in Austin,
yeah,
and it's just like they feel so threatened.
yeah,
And it's all like, again, fear-based stuff that's like, they're like, no, you can't tell me I can't do something because then that means whatever, and they're freaking out and they have to fight back and they have to, yeah, it's like
yeah.
you're taking my rights away. It's like, bitch, no one's doing that.
I know. They're just trying to not
We're
let you
just
die.
telling you. Have you been watching Drag Race too?
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Well, that's how I felt about like Widow. Um Also, they're giving her the notes and her ego interpreted it as like, no, y'all hate me, I suck, whatever. And it's like nobody's saying that,
Oh
you know.
yeah.
And it just like it's funny how like it kind of shows like, yeah, we've all been there though. We all like, no matter how many people tell you like, no, that's not what's happening, you're like, in your mind you've made it up.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
no, this is what they mean, everyone's against me, no, you know.
Yes. I know even at the end Rue's like, you're a star, you're fabulous, whatever.
Yeah,
And then when she left the workroom, all she could say was, I did my best. And she like was bawling.
I
Um,
know. And she is fucking fierce and great,
yeah,
it's
she
like,
is.
yeah, I'm like, bitch, you're fucking amazing. Like nobody's saying you're not, but it's hard, to,
Yeah.
especially in that situation.
Oh yeah, no, no. She said, I did my best, but my best wasn't good enough. I was like, girl, like,
No.
it's not even like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, like you have to keep doing your best, and she's gonna go on and do greater, bigger things.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Speaking of ego,
Yeah.
where did you learn all this ego stuff?
Well, I'm a fan of Oprah's Super Soul
Oh
Conversations. Yeah,
yes.
so when I saw it was like a pattern, like she would always bring it up, like Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, Oprah's always talking about how this book changed her life. And she's like always harping on it. So I was like, okay. And I felt like I was definitely in a place where I was listening to Oprah, and like every day I would be like angry,
Mm,
or I would just be negative all the time. And I was like, things are going well. Why am I upset, or like just not, I wasn't confident and things like that, just all negative thoughts all the time. So then I read this book and I felt like I was in a
hmm.
place where I was just like, my soul, my brain, everything like needed it. So I just like binge read it and everything about it. I was just like, oh, like it just clicked for me, and it made me realize like that I am not attached, that those negative thoughts aren't me. And I
Yes.
thought that it was like, for so long I identified as that like voice, like, oh yeah, these thoughts is like, that's me, I know better, like that voice knows everything. And
Yes.
now realizing like, oh, that's not me, that's just my ego, and my ego is fueled by all this bullshit. um
Yes.
but it's crazy. I don't know. Does this happen to you like ever since reading that? And like I feel like I'm aware now of
Hmm.
the ego voice, but sometimes it still takes over.
Mm,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, girl, what are you doing? And it's like I'm aware, but I still can't like stop it from
yeah,
doing its thing. Does that happen to
yeah.
you?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can like being aware is one thing, but like, you know, even with the, you know, he talks about the pain body. It's like that
Mm-hmm.
stuff just takes time to heal. And, you know, you have all
Yeah.
these triggers and all this past hurt and trauma that's just like, I mean, it's not going to go away after one book, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I thought it was. I was like, oh, I'm cured.
Yes.
And because I felt really good after like reading it, and then I was like, oh, but yeah, it still kind of slips into that, you know. But I think
Yeah.
it is, what I've learned is to accept that it's gonna be like a process throughout my life,
Yes.
learning and accepting. And yes, there'll still be like, you know, back falls into that, the old earth, as I call it. But
Yeah.
it's like, you know, at least being aware, I think, is way better than, because before, when I didn't know and I just thought like my thoughts were all valid,
Yeah.
and I believed in them and my ego was always right, I was like, man, everyone's against me, the world, I was like defensive and angry, and that just was not fun.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it is a practice.
Yeah.
Takes time.
Does I know you do meditation every
Oh,
day.
yes.
Does that help? I need to do, like, be consistent with that.
Oh, yes. I've been doing it in the morning and in the night. And
Mm.
it, like even in what you're describing now, it's like, and I've seen, it's like like a on Netflix explained, but
Mm-hmm.
it's
Oh,
just
I
like,
watched that.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, on meditation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I told you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
good.
yeah. So like
Mm-hmm.
that, it just, you know, that the whole like the studies about people who meditate and people who don't meditate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're hit with the stress, you know, when so basically when people who don't meditate, they're always like up, 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 and when it stresses, they go up,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're still always up. But if you meditate, it's just you're lower, lower, and then stress, and then lower, lower. So it's like you're just more aware of when you're
Mm.
being stressed out, right? Or it's
Yeah,
like,
like you have more like control during stress rather than going. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all evolution in terms of like our
Mm.
bodies, you know, but that's how the fight or flight mechanism with saber-toothed tigers.
Yes.
It's like even, you know, someone yelling at us, someone honking the horn, it releases all this cortisol into our bodies, and then that's,
Mm-hmm.
and it, I don't know.
Triggers. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they say it's like, and if we don't deal with it, it stays in our system for like 90 minutes. And that,
Mm-hmm.
and think of like that happening 8 times a day. Like, so it's like, and then,
I know. Yeah, and it's like our brain is constantly telling our body like, you're being attacked, you're being attacked, and it's like we do it to ourselves, like we put ourselves
yes.
through that, even if it's like a little thing. Like I've started doing this thing where I say out loud what the situation is, like I give it a title,
Yes.
because it upsets me, like if something happens, but I'm like, okay, what's happening here? I'm upset because my mom told me I should put makeup on, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but I'm like, why am I so mad about that? You know, like, why does it make me so mad or whatever? And why do I hold on to it so tight? When it's like, when I say it out loud or just write it down, I'm like, it doesn't seem like that big a deal, you know?
Yes.
So I put like a title to it. I'm like, okay. Or I'm upset because the neighbor said something or whatever. I'm like, why am I mad? You know?
Yes. Yeah, no, and it's just and a lot of unnecessary stress. But
Mm,
with mindfulness and meditation, that's where you really get to be aware of yourself and aware of your awareness, and you're
mm-hmm.
able to just take a step back from all the emotions and all the feelings and being like, you know, what is really going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And why am I so mad, and do I need to be so mad? Do I need to be so angry? Or what are these emotions trying to tell me? So you're
Right.
able to objectively look at it and then bring your stress and everything down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to I want to like discipline myself and make that like do that first thing in the morning. And cuz I feel like when I wake up and I am mindful and I'm like and I make the decision of like today I'm going to be, I'm going to have a good day. I
Yes.
go back and I read my, New Earth or Seed of the Soul or whatever, and then I like make a conscious decision. But then throughout the day, like, yeah, something will happen where I'm like, I'll get mad or something.
Yeah.
So, but it is just a practice. Like you have to just constantly be mindful of all that.
Yes.
Mhm.
How about Gary Zukav, The Seed of
Mhm.
the Soul? I know that you like that book.
Yeah, well, after I read New Earth and then we connected I saw you post on Facebook or on Instagram about it, and I was like, "Oh, I read it too." And you were like, "You have to read Seed of the Soul. You have to. It's like the next one." So I got that one, and that
Yeah.
one I felt like definitely helped. Like reading those both back to back definitely helped kind of like cement it in of like it is a practice and kind of like just specifically the last two chapters on like relationships and trust. Really,
Mm,
like I go back and I read those all the time because I just love it. Really resonated with me, the whole concept of like having authentic power,
mm,
because for so long I thought having power was, to be mean or to, be like alpha dog and show status and all that stuff. But it's like, no, you don't have power when you care about what people think, or if you're trying to impress a certain someone, like that's all external power.
yeah.
And that the whole concept of like authentic power comes from just leading with love and not
Mm-hmm.
caring about how much money I have, how many shows I've done, how much whatever. It's like none of that matters, or none of that,
Mm-hmm.
that shouldn't give you like happiness or worth.
Yes.
And that really like hit home with me, especially with like being in LA and hustling and doing the whole comedy thing. It's like a lot of, I think, that whole thing of like wanting to do comedy, it's competitive. It's,
Yes.
you have to be comparing yourself and doing all that. And it's just like, I don't
Yeah.
think that gets you anywhere.
Yeah. And one thing I want to add about authentic power,
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes down with a very, no, it comes when you have a very deep sense of yourself and your worth and your being,
Mm-hmm.
because that, if you're really in touch with the divine and the spirit in you, who is connected to the universe and the source and of all good and all being, then if you come from that place and you know that that is, your essential nature, then all this other stuff won't matter, because being aware of that being of yourself, the one that is connected to all that is and all that, all of life and all that creates, like that in itself is already fulfilled and powerful and has everything it needs. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore you're not going to be looking to anything, anyone, anything to fill you up, because you know deep down that you are already all you need.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
Yes.
that like for a lot of people it's like that's a hard pill to swallow, because
Mm-hmm.
I think we're so, it's ingrained in us to think that no, we
Yeah.
have to work towards, and we're never good enough, and we have to be this and that and all this stuff. And but it's like, no, yeah, we're
Mm-hmm.
actually perfect the way we are.
And also, but all that, like, all
Mm-hmm.
that external stuff and that wealth and that affluence is a
Mm-hmm.
result of that. But it's, if you make that the goal, then you're never going to be
Mm-hmm.
fulfilled,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not saying here, don't make money, don't have a good job, don't whatever. It's saying
Right.
knowing that being connected to the source and the divine, so
Mm-hmm.
that you can, all those things can flow in a, authentic and life-giving way that will be beneficial to you and to the people around you.
Yeah, exactly. It was like yeah, like it's definitely a balance of like you can have things and strive for and to strive for and have goals.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I think it's like about enjoying that journey and being or like yeah, I'm on the way there, but I'm also, fulfilled right now kind of balance,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are two great books. I definitely recommend them to the listeners.
I had a little like aha moment this morning of Oprah, Oprah,
Mhm.
aha moments.
Yes.
But no, I think so. For me, like when I was going through all this spiritual awakening, I kind of, there were moments when I started to question, like, what am I doing? Like as a comedian, like what is this? Like, this is like, you know,
Mm. Yeah.
like, is this really what I want to do? Like, this seems kind of trivial and whatever. But then I
Mm-hmm.
realized that, so the Deepak talks about the law of the law of dharma. So it's
Mm-hmm.
a, and in dharma, just in Sanskrit, just means like purpose. And so he talks about three things about, number one is to be connected to the divine in you, and then number two is to find your unique gifts that you have, and number three is to, like, how can you use it to serve people and other people, how can you be of service, to humanity.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But for me, like, once, like, now I feel like, I mean, the second one I've always kind of like known, and I made that like my worth of like, oh, I'm a comedian, I make people laugh, I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna be famous, like that's it, that's me, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But then now it's, I think what I'm learning is like, now that I'm focusing on the first one, which is being connected to the divine, it's like, therefore, that, and I think that is the most important one, because once you're connected to that, and then the second one will start to flow and everything will start to happen more naturally, and then number three, and then you can start to help people.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my only point is like, there's no, whatever you do, your talents, your gifts, your that, as long as it's coming from a good place with good intentions, and you know from with authentic power, then
Mm-hmm.
you're good to go.
Yeah, coming from love, I try to do that even now, like even before this whole quarantine and stuff. Every show I did, I tried to tell myself like the only goal right now is to make these people laugh, like
Yeah.
genuinely make them feel good. Like that's your job. And, but if I go into a show and I'm like, oh, so and so's here, I want them to think that I'm good because this, and it's like
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I never have a good set if I'm worried about, anything like that about my external power. But if it's like a genuine intent of like love and just having a good time with everybody in that room, it's like it's always fun. And even with these like Zoom shows that I'm doing now, I try to think of it in that way too, of like, people are sad right now, scared right now. Whoever's watching this Zoom show, let's just make them smile.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Intention.
Intentions have to be good. And then I also saw recently, I was watching a interview with Oprah and Gary Zukav, where they were talking about that like, we, what goes up must come down, and what goes out must come in
Yeah.
too. So whatever you put out comes back to you.
Yes, it does. Karma.
Karmas.
I know it's this is gonna sound shady and okay, fine, I'm gonna call these people out. But like if like one thing that I know I could easily do this and I've been guilty of this, but it's like being shady and especially about celebrities, right? If that like that's your career, like
Mhm.
basically talking about other people's business and being
Mhm.
sassy and like we're all guilty of that, but it's like if
Mhm.
like you're putting out so much negative energy about these people you don't even know,
Right.
but all because you think you have a hot take or you have whatever, but it's like, girl, like you're who are you helping? you know
Mhm.
I mean, yes, sometimes I they're calling out people's shit, but it's like you're still putting out negativity. Like, why don't you focus on you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like I see what you're saying. It's like I follow a lot of people like that too, where they focus on calling out people's shit, and again, it's like yeah, they're not. It's like yeah, the people they're calling out are bad or doing whatever bullshit, but what if the intent was to just put out like love and good intention rather than
Yeah.
focusing on the negative shit? It's like
Yeah.
because I think we just get stuck in that cycle, and then people see that negative shit and they're like, well, let me share this. Look at this bullshit. Look. And then we're all just like obsessed at
Exactly.
sharing everything that's bad or all the drama
Yes.
rather than being like, oh, here's this good thing. Or like, I saw this person do this good thing. I'm going to do that too, or whatever.
Yeah. And a lot of it is like it is just feeding your own ego of like,
Mm,
look, I'm better than you. I don't do this.
right.
I'm not
Hmm.
problematic. I'm not
Right.
canceled. I'm not
It,
whatever. It's like,
mhm.
girl, like, calm
Mm-hmm.
down.
Right. But it's like we're still giving those problematic people like shining light on them when
Yeah.
we do that, you
Yeah.
know? So
And
it's like, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, and I'm not trying to say like don't call out anybody's shit, but it's like
Hmm.
don't make that the core of your being, It's like,
Right. Right. When that's like all you're focused on
yeah.
is just negative, negative, negative. It's like, yeah, you're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Hmm. I feel you. I see you. I see you.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I know
Yeah.
that's like for me that's a constant reminder I tell myself of like I see like no of just like I see when people do this stuff and it is popular, or when people do this or like do that, and I'm like, oh, I could be doing that, but then
Mm-hmm.
it's like, no, I'm gonna focus on me and my story and my purpose and my all that, and because in the end of the day, like that's like, I mean, that's all I can do, and that's all I should do,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like,
Right.
why am I so worried about trying to change other people when I should just be worried about trying to change me?
Right. And I think that's what the ego wants. Like our ego is constantly like judging people, judging what they put out. And I think that's why a lot of people are like, I can't do Facebook or Instagram anymore, because it's like all they see when they're scrolling and doing all that stuff. Their brain is just judging and making them mad. So they're like, oh, I don't want this. And it's like, yeah, it's like we want to control people. We want people to be like we want them to be and say what we want them to say, but it's like we can't control that. So all we can do is just focus on us and how we take that in and put things out. That's all.
Yes.
But it is a hard practice to do.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying that I'm like that all the time and that I'm like just I exude love all the time. I'm not saying that either. But I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm working towards, and I'm aware that that's the right or the way that I want to be.
Yes. And then,
Mhm.
it literally, if it comes down to like, before you say or do anything, like if you ask yourself, what is my intention? What is
Mhm.
my intention? And if it's not a positive one, then don't do it.
Right.
That's it.
Mhm.
If it's fear-based, don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Take a second, sit with the fear, unpack it, whatever you need to do. But yeah, don't move forward with that in you. Yeah.
Oh, so good. So
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
Have you been? Oh, I know Eckhart's like he's going ham on the Instagram. Have you seen?
I haven't. He is.
Yeah, yeah.
Does he give like daily teachings, or what is he doing?
Yeah, basically it's just like how to remain calm during the coronavirus. It's like
Very on the nose.
uh, yeah, yeah.
uh, are they good, or you're like, eh?
Oh no, no. I mean, I think I at first I was really like into it, and now I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like I think like Eckhart is just one item in the buffet of
Sure.
spirituality and self-help,
Right.
even though he is like the prime rib. But
Yeah. Yes. But I
um
think that's good. I think that everyone that you should be getting your kind of spiritual teachings from a different variety,
oh
not just the one,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. And it's like at a certain point it's like these people aren't the Messiah. It's like they're just
Right.
human beings too. Like
Right.
you shouldn't worship them.
Right, right. And they're just like kind of
Except Oprah.
except yeah, Oprah for sure is the second coming. But that's undeniable. But yeah, it's like they're just sharing what they've learned, throughout the years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the reality is we all have access to that same knowledge and truth.
Mhm. Exactly.
Alrighty, Vanessa Gonzalez, thank you so
Oh. Well,
much.
thank you for having me. You always every time we talk and get spiritual, it always just makes me feel good and great.
Yeah.
You're such a light, and I'm glad you're doing this podcast. I know it's like gonna bring so much to you and to the people who listen.
Oh, thank you. You
Yeah.
too. Mwah, mwah.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.